All right, let's dive in. Today, we are cracking open the most complex thing in the known universe, your mind. We're going to be guided by the work of Steven Pinker to really unpack how this incredible biological computer inside your skull actually creates your reality, your emotions, and even your thoughts. So let's get started.
We're surrounded by what are basically everyday miracles. Think about it. Just picking up a cup of coffee. Your brain is solving physics problems that would absolutely stump a supercomputer, and it does it all without you even being aware of it. But the real magic, the really wild stuff, might be happening in something even simpler. Just understanding. So let me ask you a really simple question. What is a bachelor? I mean, it seems easy, right?
The dictionary gives us a neat, tidy answer. An adult, human male who's never been married. It's clean, it's simple, it's logical. But our minds don't really care about textbook logic, do they? Okay, watch what happens when we throw a few wrenches in the works. Let's say you're inviting bachelors to a party. What about David? He's a 17-year-old playboy. Does he count? Or what about Eli and Edgar, a committed couple who've lived together for years? Are they bachelors? Then there's Faisal, who has 2 wives but could have a third. And what about Father Gregory, a Catholic bishop? You see, that simple definition just completely falls apart, but your brain knows exactly how to handle all this mess. Your mind just glides through the sea of fuzzy ideas, knowing who fits the bill and who doesn't, all without a perfect rulebook. So the real question is, how on earth does it do that?
To figure that out, we have to do something Pinker calls reverse engineering. We've got the finished product, this amazing mind of ours, and we need to work backwards from it to try and figure out its design, its instruction manual.
And as Pinker himself puts it, look, we don't totally understand how the mind works, not yet, but a whole bunch of things that used to be complete mysteries have been upgraded to problems. And that right there, that changes everything. A mystery is something you can only wonder at. A problem is something you can solve. So the toolkit for solving this problem comes from 2 huge scientific revolutions. On one hand, you've got the cognitive revolution. That tells us the mind is basically a computer. It's a system that processes information. On the other hand, you've got the evolutionary revolution, which tells us the mind is a product of natural selection, specifically designed to solve the problems our ancient ancestors faced. And when you put those 2 ideas together, you get this incredible insight. The mind isn't one big general-purpose computer. No, it's way more like a Swiss Army knife. It's packed with all these specialized tools, these mental organs, and each one has been perfectly honed by evolution for a very specific job. Okay, so let's put this toolkit to work. Let's look at maybe our most direct link to the outside world, our vision.
Let me ask you a crazy question. Are you hallucinating right now? I know it sounds nuts, but Pinker makes a really compelling case that, in a way, the answer is yes.
Just think about watching TV. You're literally staring at a flat piece of glass with little glowing dots on it. That's it. But that's not what you see, is it? Your brain constructs this rich, deep, 3-dimensional world filled with real people and places. In a very real sense, your brain is hallucinating a world that exists behind that screen.
And that's because your visual system is not a passive camera, just recording whatever light comes in. It's an active problem solver. It comes with a built-in cheat sheet, a set of assumptions about how the world usually works. And it uses that cheat sheet to make its best guess about what's actually out there.
And this isn't some flaw, some bug in the system. It's the whole point. It's a feature. This process of guessing and assuming is literally how your brain pulls off the magic trick of seeing a stable 3D world from the flat 2D images hitting your retinas. This same idea of a hidden, purpose-built system also applies to other parts of our mind, like our emotions. So now, let's take that same reverse engineering logic and apply it to something we usually think of as completely irrational, our feelings. What if even our most powerful emotions have their own secret, strategic logic? To really get this, we have to wrap our heads around a classic paradox from game theory. And it's this. Sometimes the most powerful, most strategic move you can make is to actually give up control. Think about the game of chicken. You've got 2 cars speeding toward each other. The first person to swerve is the chicken. They lose. So how do you guarantee a win? Well, you make it absolutely impossible for yourself to back down. You very publicly rip the steering wheel out of your car and toss it out the window. You've given up all control. Now the other driver has no choice but to swerve. You win.
While our passions work just like that thrown-away steering wheel, a fit of uncontrollable rage, an undying, all-consuming love, these aren't just irrational outbursts. They are credible signals of an authentic commitment that you simply can't fake. They prove you're not bluffing because you're not entirely in control of yourself.
So from this point of view, romantic love is the ultimate commitment device. It's a solution to a massive strategic problem. How do you prove to someone that you'll stick with them for real? Well, that seemingly irrational, crazy feeling of love acts as the ultimate guarantee. It's like a beautiful, powerful doomsday machine for the heart. This brings us to one last, really deep conflict. The battle between our conscious selves and the ancient genetic programming that built our brains in the first place.
Pinker has this absolutely brilliant quote that just nails it. He says, "Sexual desire is not people's strategy to propagate their genes. It's people's strategy to attain the pleasures of sex. And the pleasures of sex are the gene's strategy to propagate themselves." You see the disconnect? Your goal is pleasure. Your gene's goal is to make more copies of themselves. They just built pleasure into the system to trick you into doing their work.
But here's the twist. This does not mean we're just puppets dancing on our DNA strings. Pinker is really clear that so-called selfish genes do not necessarily build selfish people. In fact, one of the best strategies for a gene to get itself copied is to build a brain that's capable of genuine love, real kindness, and cooperation. And think about it, we outsmart our genes all the time. We use birth control, we adopt children, we pour our lives into art or science, things that have absolutely nothing to do with passing on DNA. And in Pinker's words, if the genes don't get propagated, it's because we are smarter than they are. Which leaves us with this one last, absolutely mind-bending thought to chew on. Our minds are ancient machines, designed by evolution for a world that's long gone. And yet, using these very same minds, we can understand the process that made us, and we can choose to defy its programming. So, if we can literally outsmart the very genes that built us, who is really in control?